Lady girl camels. That's how I improv my set. Now I'm gonna do real jokes. So I'm a survivor of testicular cancer. I like to start my sets out that way because if you don't laugh at my jokes, you're not laughing at a survivor of cancer. So you'll have to explain that to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Anyway, the way that I found out was one of my balls was bigger than the other one. Sorry for being so graphic. But, you know, if I said testicles, people what's a testicle? But I was 21 at the time, so like kind of cocky, pun intended. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm just waiting for the other one to get caught up. I started to get worried when they didn't, so I did what any normal person would do, and I told my mom. And she did the very motherly thing of, well, let me see it. And at that point I was like, hey, you know what? Let's actually just see how the cancer plays out. I'd rather you not look at my ball. So then she said, well, let's go to a doctor. And I'm like, sure. Let's show him. So he looked at it and he's like, well, we got to get that out of there. And I got upset because he was talking about the bigger one, not the smaller one. I was like, come on, the bigger one's going to be laid. So, yeah, so they did the surgery to take it out, and he was like, would you want a, not you guys, just me, didn't ask my mom about this decision, but he's like, would you like a prosthetic nut? And I mean, he used more doctory like terms and stuff. Essentially, that's what he said. And I'm like, what's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of a prosthetic nut? Like, why is that even a thing? It's not like guys are walking around with fake nuts, showing them off to people, and then like their friends are gossiping behind their back. Like, it's not real. Nobody's balls look like that. Those balls are too perky to be real. And then I got mad because I was like, why didn't I know this was a thing when I had 2 functioning balls? Like, because then I could have had 3 balls. And I don't know if you're Schoolhouse Rock fans, but 3 is the magic number or something like that. But then I tried to imagine what a prosthetic nut would look like, and all I could think of was like silly putty. And all the fun I would have was the Sunday morning cartoons. Because you know, with silly putty, if you put it on newspaper, I'm not just going to. So yeah, so that's I survived the cancer, and now I get to come up on stage and tell jokes about it, so that's alright. I have some friends here tonight in the crowd, and they're from the Netherlands, and and some occasion, they asked us to pet sit for them for their dogs. And the first time, they told us, they were like, they obey commands, but only if you give it to them in Dutch. I don't know any Dutch. So the first couple of times, I'd look at the dogs and I'd be like, all right, sit. In Dutch. They have to come to every show now. So. I was going on an elevator earlier today, and there's a sign, and it said, in case of fire, use stairs. I was like, that's stupid, use water. I used to have a girlfriend who would talk to her pets like they were people. And one night we were on the phone, and to know the story is to know that Mr. Mittens is her cat, not her father. And she's like, say goodnight to Mr. Mittens. And then there's like a period of silence, which I can only assume was her putting the phone next to the cat's ears. So I didn't say, I don't know what cat for goodbye is. I'm assuming it's meow. That's the only word in cat I know. So I didn't say anything. She puts the phone back to her face and she's like, you didn't say goodnight to him. And I'm like, really awkward because he was supposed to break up with you for me. I like, I think the term no homo is really funny because it's what guys use to indicate that they're not gay if they say something nice to another guy. But see, I like to have fun with it. Like, this dude right here, you're like, nice shoes. He's not looking at me. Nice shoes, dude. And then I just walk away. But then, like, there's times where I'm going down on a guy. And then after he comes in my mouth, I get up and I say, no homo. It's actually on the bathroom stall in there. Actually, that's my old number. I'll give you my new one. There's a totally homo. There was a sign I saw as I drove up here, and it said there were 909 traffic deaths in 2014. Don't text and drive, but feel free to read this sign notifying you about all of the deaths that occurred while reading and driving. But then, like, I drove a couple of miles and I saw the same sign, but then it said there have been 910 deaths in 2014. I was like, okay, the real tragedy, though, is that people are still dying in 2014. And I love technology, so I wanted to see if the sign was in real time. So I hit a dude on the side of the road. And then I looked up, and it didn't change, and I realized because I wasn't texting and driving. So that guy died in vain. I didn't really kill a guy in case there's any police in here. One time, speaking of Halloween, I'm going to say that because this joke is about Halloween. One time for Halloween, my girlfriend at the time, I have a lot of ex-girlfriend stories, which is why they're ex-girlfriends. She wanted to do a theme costume. And her idea was to do a bee theme, so she could be the queen bee, for bitch, I guess, I don't know. But, not according to her, but according to me. So I was like, I didn't care. I looked it up to her. I was like, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do is fine. So I even let her just pick out my costume, which was a killer bee, and it was super clever, like the most clever gift you can get from Target. And it was just a letter B with blood spattered all over it, and I carried a knife. Whatever, it was stupid. I had another friend, and his girlfriend also decided to be a bee, not in our theme, so I was like, well, but her bee costume was like super slutty, like she got it from like an adult store or something like that. Like her boobs were hanging out and her butt was all everywhere. And so my girlfriend's like, all right, so you're a killer bee, I'm a queen bee, what is she? And I said, hepatitis B. That's why I taught you around. I took my girlfriend, or my fiance, I recently got engaged. Yay! That's the only reason why I got engaged, was just for that. So even if I'm bombing, like, people have to, applaud the engagement thing, So I took them to Great America. And my favorite ride to make fun of is the Sky Deck. It's that giant tower thing that just spins in a very slow circle. And I'm like, who's going on that ride? Like, who's, like, waiting in line for a minute saying, I don't want to have fun. I want to watch everybody else have fun. I feel like those people are the same kind of people who say that they read Playboy for the articles. Nobody reads Playboy for the articles. I was on a dating site recently. Not recently.
On the couch!
I didn't rewrite that joke. But anyway, when I was on a dating site once, I finished my profile, and it instantly shot me all of my matches, and one of them ended up being my cousin, which isn't that big of a deal because we've been dating for like 6 months now. He's the most gentle lover I've ever had, so thank you.